Welcome everyone. This is going to be I'm going to try to make this quick, but this is going to be a quick fly through tutorial, whatever you want to call it, on St. Edward to address some questions and just give everyone an idea of what is coming with this map. So first things first, the store area. If you buy things from the store, they'll show up right here in this lot, and this is down in the bottom corner of the map, bottom right corner. This is where your store is. So come down here, or I use store deliveries, so I don't typically pick up equipment here, but this is where it'll spawn. There are two other decorative dealerships from other maps that I've put in with some just decorative equipment to make this feel a little bit more real. So getting started, there's the store. First area here, this is just an open area. There was a farm here at one point, but we removed that, so feel free to build a farm here and make it your own. This is I call it the custom feedlot. This is not a farm you can own. There's lots of decorative equipment to make it look like a regular working feedlot. But the purpose here is, you see this cell trigger right here between the silage pits, and that's where you can sell chaff, you can sell hay, you can sell a number of things, but made it to look like a feedlot as if you were selling and doing custom work for. Also, from this feedlot, you can either buy solid manure right here or liquid manure from these. And they'll fill you up for a price. Seed dealer here. Not much more to add, but if you're familiar with this building, you know how it works. It's just a placeable that I pre-placed in the map. So buy your seed and then from inside, and then actually fill up your tender or whatever out here. Don't speed down this road. Watch out for him. We got another purchase point. Nutrien was CPS, now it's Nutrien. You can get anhydrous here. You can load up with lime or solid fertilizer inside, or these two places will fill up with lime. These don't cost anything. I couldn't find a way to make it purchasable. It just fills up. So it fills up. You can scoop lime out with a wheel loader or a loader and load it up for free. And those will keep refilling as the game goes. I just started a new save, so they're empty right now. And then you can also sell stones there. So kind of sell stones, turns into lime, let's pretend, whatever. But that's how this works there. Sell point for stones, pick up lime, buy lime or solid fertilizer, and lastly, buy anhydrous. Now the last down this line are these buildings. Again, just put them in as placeables, but try to make these signs so solid fertilizer purchased driving under there, and then liquid fertilizer driving right here, and lastly herbicide buy right here. So I separated all three out because I prefer that for auto drive. Speaking of auto drive, this whole map has all the field boundaries, the field numbers, and farms and everything. It's got a full auto drive configuration right out of the gate. So when you start the game, there will be a question: do you want to use traffic splines for auto drive? Yes or no? Click no. That way it uses my lines and doesn't try to create new ones from scratch. So continuing on, just a little decorative farm, nothing you can do with this here. This is a cattle farm. There was a silage pit here you could put up in its place there. I was just having some issues, so I decided to take it out with a little commodity barn, a slurry pit, and then let me buy all the land here to show you. So you can load up your cattle there, feed them right inside the door, and then do your thing. There's also sheds and silos, of course. This is a nice working farm. If you do have that silo extension from Thunder, with these bins, you can walk right in there, and this is all set up for that silo extension. So you can fill each of these bins individually, move grain around between them, dry it out, whatever the case. If you don't have that silo extension mod in, these should just work like a production site for grain bins. So going as fast as I can. This is more of an older style farm, kind of a retired hog building, a little dairy there, small shed for your smaller, older operations. There are bales here, and these are actual straw bales you can use and feed. I put them on the map for decoration, but grab them, feed them to your cattle. It'll be free straw. And for these cattle, you place straw here for bedding, but to feed them, you'll actually feed them right here in this bunk, and then load and unload the cattle right there. Moving on, there is an animal dealer up here towards the north center of the map. Just a buy trigger right there, nothing too fancy here. As we're getting to the top left part of the map, let's pull up my HUD. Just having a little bit of an idea where I'm at all the time. As we go over here, just the sell point from Medicine Creek. Should be some bale sales there, and then there for grain. Scale here, be careful with this, I'll talk about that in a second. But basic sell point, another sell point from UMRV, just kind of built into this map now. So now this is where it's important to understand how the scales work. So these scales, you drive up on them, it will show you a weight right there. But if you look, there's a collision here. If you just keep driving, you're going to get stopped and hit that. What you need to do, there is a mod for automatic gate and door opening and closing. So basically when you drive into a trigger, doors automatically open for you. If you download that, that'll open, it'll cause this probe to go through its animation and take a sample. And then after a few seconds, after that returns, it'll let you go. So it'll be that way both before you drive around here, sell your grain, and then after as well, because you do have to get a weight when you drive out of this ethanol plant. There's also bale sales here, and then this one, I think this is just to buy either grain, grist, or cracked corn for Maize Plus. I'd have to get a vehicle to know for sure, but only if you're using Maize Plus does this little buy point even matter, but it's just a purchase point for those Maize Plus materials. So I've got 2 sell points there if you're following on the PDA. Another just grain farm here. So got a couple sheds, made these bins here. It should be pretty straightforward there. As we go, this gets to the dairy. This is the huge dairy. So you got 1 free stall here. Got 1 free stall back up on the hill. This one, the cows will produce slurry and it'll go into this pit. And the one way over there, the slurry will come to this pit. And then you can pull out of those pits with these guys here. So drive under it with your tanker, load, and you can empty these out. But these will fill up with slurry as those cows produce it. Plenty of silage and hay storage all around, but this whole commodity barn, you drive around, open up the door, and you can drive in, get loaded. Again, if you're using Maize Plus, you can load over here and you can load either water or molasses. I don't actually have Maize Plus even loaded at the moment. And then you drive under there and actually put it in your wagon. If you're not running Maize Plus, you can still drive your wagon here, use your wheel loader to unload that. Everything should work fine now. So a few more silage pits, big ones, lots of storage, especially for Maize Plus. This is handy just to have lots of silage storage. And then I did put a few more pads back here. If that's not enough, you can put more silage back in here to let that ferment. But that's the mega dairy. Got just a random shed. This is the farm from Ashton Corners. I did my best to put it into the terrain. I think the cattle and the triggers and other things are pretty close. Did have a few small changes, but this is all by MRG. But for the most part, I just placed it into this map. Also have a hog barn here, just a run-of-the-mill there. This is a grain, well, it's a farm. There's no grain bins here. This is just shed and storage space. This is actually the farm I've played on a lot. This is where that custom shed is that I had a lot of help on Blender and putting together. But we made it work, and it's a fun shed, a fun farm to play on. You'll just need to either put some bins in here as placeables, or what I did, I actually stored my grain on a different farm. Shed here. As we get to the bottom left corner, this is just going to be another sell point. I think I just got this from a base game map, a lot of these objects, but the scales are not mine. All I did, just like at the other sell point, I didn't build these. All I did was I put the collision in and built the animation so that it actually will take a sample, make you weigh before you can proceed. You could probably, if you don't have that mod where it automatically opens, if you get out of your vehicle, you can click, and as long as you see that probe moving, that collision is going to fall. So you could probably just set these to open all the time if you wanted to, if you don't have that mod in there. But then your sell point, I should have put an icon in here, but it's just this grate right there. And this would be called your, oh, apologies, I got to save this. So Galt Co-op, that was the one up north. This one is just called Southern Farmers Cooperative. That's the one I'm at right there. So we've seen Galt, we've seen the ethanol plant from UMRV. This one's just the co-op. And last but not least is the feedlot. So I've cleared some buildings out, but this is still, should be pretty fun to play on still. Got all your manure right here. Got some silage pits and pads and bunkers. Plenty of storage. Creative how you see fit to build this out, but then to actually run this, all your cattle get loaded and unloaded right up on top of the hill right here. So I did post a picture on Facebook. Oh, the icons do show up when you get close. So what you do here, this gate, for example, with this icon, I think maybe all these have icons. Oh, they sure do. So look for these icons. Open the gate. I'm actually going to close this because you just want to do one at a time. If I want to load into this pen, I open the gate and go back up the hill. And now the trigger's here to load cows into there. I buy those. Now we've got cows. Just make sure when you're done, you close this gate. You only want one gate open at a time, or else there's going to be triggers that overlap and the game's not going to be too happy. So there's our overview. Oh, one more farm. I apologize. Post a picture of this one. Another dairy type farm. You've got a similar freestall here, some silage, some harvest doors, maybe a little bit more like Wisconsin style, if you will. And then slurry will come down into this pit and you can pick it up right down there. So some cool farms, but obviously plenty of space to put things in as you see fit too. There are some places, like this is a great example. See this little path out here? There's a nice center point for a pivot here. And you can run your pivot irrigation system all the way around. Several of these fields, see like here in field 38, left a little hole right there. That is the center point of the field. So if you want to put a pivot there, that would take your pivot all the way around nice and even. A lot of these fields have that. There's a center point for a pivot. Just some random storage and other things like this feedlot in real life. They have some storage for hay and whatnot up here in a little spot up there. Could probably build some farms and stuff into here too. There's also one spot. I just didn't, the more I messed around with this, I just couldn't find a farm design that really fit well with this spot. So I just left it blank for placeables. Feel free to build farms there. And after that, off and rolling. Here's these smaller fields. This is how this was in real life in this area, the way these fields were set up. There's actually a house up in here, I believe, and then a small field back that you had to go through these trees to get to. This terrain is pretty close to real life. Now that I'm getting better at mapping, I probably could have done it better now today, but that's part of learning. See these two fields by the feedlot, they're already set up as circles. So you place your pivot there, pivot can go all the way around the circle and farm it as a circular field. Couple more notes. So regular crops, I did custom seed rates, custom yields, custom prices. It's about at 3x of real life price-wise. Yields are all realistic. Seed rates are all pretty realistic, I believe. But prices, I did a multiplier of 3x. So everything costs you 3 times as much as it would normally to plant your seed, fertilize your field, etc. And then it costs you 3 times, or you get 3 times as much money on the backside too. So if you're farming 1,000 acres on this map, which is a lot, it'd be more like running a 3,000 acre farm, and you can buy equipment accordingly. This is row crop ready. So you see row crop soybeans, row crop corn. You can either use the Thunder's script to have that convert into regular corn at harvest time, or you can just sell it as row crop corn. It's all set up for that. But I hope this video didn't take too long. If you've got questions, leave a comment, message me on Discord, or message me on Facebook. But I'm excited to see what some of you guys like to do with this map. So comment, subscribe.